You gave up a TV job to start a podcast in your basement. If that doesn't scream midlife crisis, I don't know what does.
It was Championship Sunday here in Indianapolis. What's the mindset then coming in as a defending champion?
I want to win. No, I want to win.
The young lady over my shoulder, Caitlin Clark.
Not the best looking guy. And I don't think anyone's going to sit here and say, Matt Randazzo was really good looking.
What has this last month, 2 months, 3 months been like for you? It's an important fan base for the Fighting Illini, is it not?
It is.
He turned 69 years young last week. He looked good, Coach.
Oh, try it. Thank you.
Welcome to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo on a Monday in the Quad Cities, Monday, December 15th. We are 10 days away from Christmas, so if you've not gotten your Christmas shopping done, shame on you. If I would have said that last week at this time, I would have felt really bad because we were behind. The one good thing about snow this weekend, and we got plenty of it, both on Saturday and then some on Thursday night as well, is that it slowed down the weekend here in the Quad Cities for a lot of people, including the Randazzo. So we've caught up a lot. We still have a lot to do, but we feel much better. I feel much better. I don't know if my wife feels, but I feel much better today than I did last Friday. So hopefully everybody's getting ready for Christmas. It's a great time of year. I know a lot of vacations are coming up. I know kids are out of school. My kid's last day, I think, is Friday, maybe Thursday. Something like that. So hopefully everybody's getting ready for the holidays as well. We want to thank you guys for joining us. We appreciate it. If you're watching us live on YouTube, thank you for that. Please subscribe. It helps us out a ton. Up over 1,400 subscribers. Trying to get to 1,500 by the first of the year. So we got about 2 weeks left. And truth be told, we're not gonna always be doing shows every single day. We'll be taking some time off as well. So help us out. Subscribe. Tell a friend or two or 10 about what we're doing each and every day here in the Quad Cities, Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. If you're on YouTube, there's a chat. It's been fun. It's been active, especially the last couple of months. So hop on there. There's plenty to talk about. And I promise you, I will say things today that you do not agree with. I'm right, but you might not agree with them. So let us know if you got questions for guests, all those kind of things as well. Hop on and chat with us on the YouTube chat as well. We are also live on X. X has been very, very good to us. Same thing on X. We're going to have a couple poll questions throughout the day today that I want you guys to partake in, give me your feedback on. But X is always good to us. So we appreciate you guys if you watch us on that app as well. And then, of course, you can check out the podcast each and every day on the anywhere you get your podcasts, anywhere you get the audio forms, whether it is Spotify, Apple, iHeart, Podbean. There was some technical difficulty I'm learning on the Friday episode. So I've gotten several messages about that. We're going to get that up and going on Friday. Friday's show was from Rock Island Fieldhouse. We had a bunch of fun in that one as well. So we'll get that one up. We'll check that out. But of course, for the most part, unless I mess things up, every single day you can check out Off the Air with Matt Randazzo wherever you get your podcasts from. So if you're working out, if you're getting ready for Christmas, if you're baking Christmas cookies, man, that sounds good. If you're shopping, all those kind of things, toss on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. A great week last week. Tons of stuff from last week that's still very relevant this week. So go check out last week's shows as well. And then also welcome to our viewers in Central Iowa. The show is on every day in the Des Moines area on WHO, their streaming app, every night at 7 p.m. Been doing it for several months. Gotten a lot of great feedback. We appreciate you guys giving us the feedback. I know not everything is maybe relevant to what you guys are doing in Central Iowa, but a big chunk of it is. So we appreciate you guys taking part in the show as well. A lot to get to on a Monday here in the Quad Cities. I will get you the lineup first of what we got guest-wise, and then we got a lot of news to catch up with, and then we'll kind of go from there and get to our first guest. But back like he normally is on Mondays, he wasn't on last Monday because of a bad back, no pun intended. Pat Anger will join us in a matter of moments to talk about, well, his bad back. I think everybody that watches the show, and a lot of people have asked me, how's Pat doing? He's got a bad back. Last time he was on, he was laying down. I think he's going to be sitting up this time, but we'll talk with him about I really want to talk to him about injuries in the NFL. He had his fair share of them. Yesterday was a huge day when it came to injuries in the NFL. So we'll talk about that. Iowa versus Vandy. We'll get his thoughts on Iowa State and their change in their football program. And then who knows with Pat Anger. That's coming up in just a little bit. Also, it was a big Friday night of high school basketball. The biggest game, arguably, in the area was Moline, Rock Island, because of the rivalry, because they're two good basketball teams. And it was Moline going on the road for the second straight Friday and knocking off one of their rivals. They beat Rock Island 54-51 in overtime. Brady Welch, 29 points. He's going to join us in the second segment of the show, probably around 10:40. We'll chat with Brady about what the Maroons were able to accomplish this past week and kind of overlooked the start of the season. And now they're probably going to get a little more attention because they have knocked off two of the conference favorites in each of the past 2 Fridays, and they've done so on the road as well. So Brady Welch coming up, great family, by the way, comes from an amazing family. I got 4 boys, and like, I look at them and like, they're doing something right. So one of my favorite families as well. So we'll get to them in just a little bit. We'll get to Brady, not the whole Welch family. We don't have the time for that, but we'll get to Brady Welch in just a little bit. Also, it's a Marxy Monday. John Marx will join me, not to interview him, but to rant with me about everything going on in the world of sports. You're looking at, first and foremost, we're going to remember and celebrate a little more the legacy of Jim Albracht. Jim Albracht, one of the best in the business, media-wise, and then just life-wise. He's just an awesome human being. Passed away last Tuesday, almost a week ago, at the age of 74, unexpectedly. One of my favorite people, Johnny's as well. If you talk to anybody in the media here in the Quad Cities, nobody says anything bad about Jim Albracht. He was great on air, but he was a better person as well. So Johnny and I are going to kind of remember Jim Albracht coming up in hour number 2. But also, I mean, the Bears, Packers injuries, all of those kind of things. We'll get to that with John Marks a little bit later on this show. And then this past weekend, okay, I know this is mainly a sports show, and it's a sport. It's sport and entertainment. But it was a huge weekend because it was John Cena's last match. So coming up in hour number 2, we're going to take about 20 minutes and talk about that with our good friend Don Umland. I almost said Umland, not dumb Umland, Don Umland, coming up in hour number 2. And it's funny because even my wife, who doesn't like wrestling, knew that it was John Cena's last match and watched. Obviously, the mainstream connection with John Cena and what he's done in movies and entertainment elsewhere made it a big weekend, and John Cena lost. Everybody was shocked by that. You shouldn't be. That's how they do it in the business. It makes sense. We'll explain that and a whole bunch more coming up with good old Donnie coming up later on in hour number 2 as well. Busy weekend in the NFL. You couldn't have scripted a better Sunday for the Bears, and it got even better because of some injury news, and you don't celebrate injuries. You never should, although several Bears fans that have texted me are celebrating, which karma is a you-know-what, so pump the brakes with that. But Bears win, which you kind of expected. Packers lost. They also lost Micah Parsons out for the season with a torn ACL. And then the Lions lost as well. So they now have a 2-game lead on the Lions with 3 games to go. And they now back in first place over the Packers with a huge game coming up Saturday night back at Soldier Field. And as we mentioned, no Micah Parsons for that game. Out with a torn ACL. That'll obviously affect the Packers right now, but it'll also affect them next season. I mean, it's going to be into next season before he comes back off an ACL. There was a Lee McNeil for the Lions around the same time last year, probably a little earlier, tore his ACL, and he ended up missing the first 7 games into this year. So it'll probably affect the Packers next year as well. I hate to say this. I'm not being mean to the Packers. I don't think they can win the Super Bowl without Micah Parsons. I thought the same thing last year when the Lions lost Aiden Hutchinson. Now, they went 15-2 and did some great things in the regular season, lost in the first round of the playoffs. And I think when it comes to losing a player in the NFL, obviously quarterbacks are very important, but there's some guys you just can't lose. And it's usually the quarterback or the guy chasing the quarterback. And Micah Parsons was, numbers-wise, arguably the best in the business. Myles Garrett, obviously there as well. And I think eventually, hopefully, Aiden Hutchinson will be there as well. But that guy affects the game, and you've seen what he's done with that Green Bay defense. I don't think they can win the Super Bowl. I'm not saying they can't win the division. They can't make the playoffs. They can't win playoff games. Ultimate prize is winning the Super Bowl. I felt the same thing last year when the Lions lost to Aiden Hutchinson, and I feel the same thing with Micah Parsons this year. So you look at that team. Jordan Love, you can't lose. Micah Parsons, you can't lose. Some other guys that are people you can't lose. You look at like the Lions, and you can't lose Jared Goff, you can't lose Aiden Hutchinson, but the Lions just banged up big time when it comes to two All-Pro safeties, Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph, out right now with injuries. Terrion Arnold, their cornerback, out. Sam Laporta, an All-Pro tight end, out. So 3 All-Pros are missing, and those are big. But I think losing Micah Parsons is maybe bigger than all of those combined. I'm asking Bears fans on our poll question today, if the Bears could ill afford to lose one player, who would it be? I'm going to get that poll started here in just a second. Got it typed out, just got pushed send. Who would it be? Is it Caleb Williams? Is it, a defensive player, Montez Sweat? Is it, I think I put on there, an offensive lineman, which in my opinion, I don't know which one it is, but that offensive line is the reason why this team's really good. And I think, and obviously you can't lose Ben Johnson. He's not going to get injured, but that's one of them as well. So who's that player? Like, it's obvious with some teams. And I started talking about it last night with some friends. And I'm like, I don't know who it would be with the Bears. And that's not being mean. I just don't know who, if the Bears could ill afford to lose one player right now due to injury, like the Packers just did with Micah Parsons. And obviously the Chiefs losing Pat Mahomes for the rest of this year and into next year with an ACL. Obviously they were already eliminated from the postseason. But who would it be for the Bears? So that's one of the questions as well on the poll. So go check that out. The other one is involving John Cena. Should John Cena have lost his last match? Yes or no? So those are the 2 poll questions. Get to Twitter. Give us your feedback, all of those kinds as well. Heck, get on to the chat right now and do the same thing. So a crazy day in the NFL. We mentioned and so many injuries. It seems like more and more big injuries. It's more about surviving as well as it is winning football games. And maybe the team that stays healthiest throughout the season wins this thing. I think the Rams are the best team in football. And I'm not saying that just because they beat the Lions. I thought that going in yesterday. I thought that's why the Lions would lose. But that Lions defense, that secondary, beat up as all get out, and they gave up 41 points. It's tough to score 34 points again and lose a football game. But it'll be an interesting last month of the NFL season. We'll talk more about it later in the show. Just wanted to get some thoughts off my chest early on. Some big news in college football locally. Illinois' Matthew Bailey will not play in the bowl game. He's having shoulder surgery, and then he's got a decision to be made, whether he's going to come back to Illinois next year or play in the NFL. I think it's a fascinating decision. I think he's an NFL football player. I really do. I've said that for several years. Awesome kid, awesome human being, great athlete, and I think he's got a spot on Sundays. So he has a decision to make. We'll kind of monitor that as well. But the Luke Altmaier is playing in the bowl game. Gabe Yakis is not playing. He's opted out and going to the NFL, getting ready for the NFL. So some interesting news in Illinois when it came to who's playing, who's not playing. I figured Luke Altmaier would. I expected that, but Matthew Bailey out because of having shoulder surgery and a decision to be made for the former Moline standout. Also, basketball-wise, Illinois losing this past weekend to Nebraska. I almost said Peyton, but Price Sanford put on a show, former Hawkeye, scoring 32, and Illinois kind of dropping an unexpected home game against Nebraska, who's now 11-0 on the season and playing really good basketball. Iowa bounced back from their loss at Iowa State, and I thought it was a really good basketball game. You can check out Tom Kakert on our show on Friday, talking more about that. And then, of course, Jake Brand will be on Wednesday to talk about that Cy-Hawk game. But Iowa bounced back yesterday with an easy victory over Western Michigan. They got a few more cupcakes before Big Ten play returns coming up. And Illinois gets Missouri. So we'll preview that game with Ken Prince sometime this week, the 22nd. So a week from today, I believe Illinois plays. I don't know if they got anything else in between, but that game with Missouri coming up as well. So a busy weekend in the world of sports. Don't forget, coming up this weekend is the shootout down in Augustana, the Mercy One shootout. So we'll get you ready for that during the week right here on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo as well. But that's kind of the beginning stuff. We got a lot to talk about. This is going to be a full 2 hours. Hopefully not more than that, but 2 hours of fun because we got a lot to talk about, and we start with a guy who's who's grinding these days, a familiar face on a Monday. So joining us now, not on his deathbed anymore, but everybody's been asking me, man, like, how's Pat doing? How's the back? How's the back?
Have they really been asking?
I'm not kidding you. I've had at least 10 people say to me, like, how's Pat doing? Or like, hey man, I saw Pat on his show and he wasn't even sitting up. He was laying down. I'm like, that's a warrior right there. So you're at least upright today. How's the back?
Yeah. It's not great. It's not great, man. But hopefully I get a shot in there and then get me to the bowl game. But yeah, not ideal. Obviously a lot harder on my wife. She's had to deal with that and kids tournaments and all that stuff. And I've just been laying on a heating pad on the couch like a legend. But yeah, it's not great, man. It's not good.
I'm telling you, one of my favorite moments in the year of doing this entire show was you yelling, "I love you, Mary," last episode, and nothing. Silence.
Dude, she hates me. And
No,
I don't
I
blame
get it.
her. She went to the store the other day and I was like, hey, if you don't come back, like, I get it.
Yeah. Just take the kids when you go too. I know it's injury to. Is this like injury wise? You're like, I mean, you've had your fair share. Can you compare and contrast? I know it's like, I mean, it's not like you're playing now. It's not like, oh, he's going to be out on Saturday because of his back or whatever Sunday. But you've had your fair share of injuries. Where does this one rank in the long line of injuries that you've had?
Well, I've played with every injury. I played with, broken wrists, broken foot, broken back, messed up knee, all that stuff, messed up shoulders. I couldn't play with this.
Wow.
I couldn't play with this. No.
And what makes this different from like those injuries, besides the lack of Vicodin?
Yeah, I mean, I would say the nerves. I would say the nerve pain. The nerve pain is not ideal.
Unreal. Besides this one? What's your most, like, if you're telling your stories back when you're not going to make it to 70? I was going to say when you're 70, but like, when you're older,
42.
Like, what's the best? Like, what's the worst injury you'd had or played through? You just mentioned playing through stuff, and people listening are like, "What an idiot!" But like, what's the worst thing you played through?
I don't know. The fractured vertebrae in my back that wasn't good.
That was high school, right?
Yeah, but that's a pretty common one, I think. I'm sure a lot of guys have that play football.
Yeah, the old common fractured vertebrae. We all got it.
The foot thing, I don't know. The knee was. I would have to get my knee drained like every week in the NFL. The knee was tough. Having the knee and the foot together, that was tough. So playing with a broken foot and a messed up knee, that was all on the same side. That wasn't great. Obviously, when you can really only play on one leg for 2 years of your career in the NFL at the highest level, it's not to your benefit.
When you got it drained, did it feel like you were $1 million?
Yeah, I could bend it at least, which was nice.
That's always a plus when it goes to running.
Yeah, and then you'd go play, and then it would balloon up again, and then you'd have to put a needle in there and drain it. And that was just kind of a weekly thing.
Oh man, Pat Anger, the great Pat Anger, joining us right now. Speaking of injuries, the NFL yesterday. I don't know if you were laying on the couch just watching. Did you just get to watch football all day yesterday?
My daughter was 6, so we watched Home Alone, we watched Elf. Yes. We watched Wicked. We tried to watch Avatar for a little bit. So, yeah, me and her had a little day.
That's a pretty good day. We watched Christmas movies last night after the Lions lost, just to try to get back like into a better mood. It didn't work, but I tried to at least. I forgot where I was going with this. Oh, yeah. Anyways,
Injuries.
Did you hear Micah Parsons, ACL, out for the year? Pat Mahomes out for the year, ACL. It's crazy to hear these kind of things. And you were in the league, and the league's a little different, but kind of still the same. I mean, it's crazy that you're in a league that a season can change with a snap of a finger because of an injury here, an injury there. Those are major injuries when it comes to the world of college football, or professional football.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Micah's been having a really good year. So that was tough. And the Packers were doing really well. And, feel bad for those guys. Obviously, Mahomes, wasn't having the greatest year, but they needed him to be able to kind of have a chance. Granted, I think aren't they out of the playoffs now because they lost? Yep. It's I don't want to kind of like it's tough, obviously, when it's the big name guys. But you almost feel less bad because they've gotten paid, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't know, no disrespect to them, but it's like, hey, they've got the money, they got paid, like they're going to be all right. The guys that are kind of like up and coming, or hey, they're on their third year, fourth year, and they're having a really good year, and they need to, finish out strong to get paid, and then something like that happens, and you like feel terrible.
Yeah.
And the hard part with football, it's 100% injury risk, like 100% you're going to get injured. The good thing is, like, those guys that, Micah and Pat, like they'll have the best doctors, they'll have the best rehab. They probably have nutritionists and people that are in their supplements and medication, all this stuff that's going to get them back pretty quickly. But you do, you're never the same when you come back from something like that. You're never the same when you come back from an injury. I mean, shoot, I had 6 surgeries in the last 2 years of the NFL, and it was just, the hard part. And granted, those guys, like, they can come back when they're ready. Like, they can come back when they're 100% ready. Like, they don't got it. Like, for me, like, I had to come back when I was 80%. So then, you're 80%, and then, and then you get hurt, and you go down to 50, and then you try to get back up, and right before the season starts, again, you're at 70. So, like, all of a sudden, you're well below everybody. Yeah, hopefully those guys are smart. They've got good agents. They've got good, rehab. They've got the financial stability to get their body back. But it does, when you see guys that are just really good and doing well and good humans, it's tough to see them go down. But the hard part is, like, it's going to happen to somebody, and it happens all the time.
They're ACL injuries. You didn't mention, you've never torn your ACL, right?
No, honestly, I wish I did, instead of the cartilage issues, because you can repair an ACL, you can't really repair the cartilage.
In the league, it feels like to me, and I don't know, and you're not a doctor either, so maybe you don't know, but like let's say Micah, this is gonna go into next year. I mean, we're at the point now in late December. By the time he gets it fixed, if it's a 9 to 12 months in the injury, he's probably back mid next year. And then I always hear you're not really back yet until you kind of get through that next part of the year. Have you seen that where like you just said, you might come back, but it's not always flip a switch and you're the same player right away?
Yeah, for me, like, I didn't, when I would have my knee surgery, when I'd have any of my surgeries, I probably didn't feel, it was probably about a year and a half, probably, where I kind of felt like, okay, I'm all right. But, with the ACL, I want to say, like, it used to be like a 2-year thing, right? It used to be like a 2-year recovery or something crazy. And then these NFL guys, can't remember who it was, like, came back in 12 months. And that's still pushing it, in my opinion. Like, that's 12 months is still pushing. You got to be an absolute freak to get back in 12 months. And I think that's one of the things what's interesting too, is like, when I grew up, probably when me and you grew up, like, ACL, like, that was an NFL problem. That was an NFL injury. And then it started to become a college injury. And then it was a high school injury. And there was a kid in Kale's grade last year, 7th grade, that tore his ACL. And it's, and that wasn't like a,
why?
Like
why is it? Why do you think?
Well, that one wasn't. That one was it was just kind of a freak fall. It wasn't like he planted. But I think you know why. I think you know why it is. We've got kids that play youth sports. It's they're overdoing it. They're playing 150 games a year, and probably more than that, to be honest with you. But and they're not giving their body the time to rest. They're not giving their body the time to build up and get those muscles strengthened to be able to compete like that. It's essentially it's overuse. So these orthopedic specialists or orthopedics and these physical therapists are just making all kinds of money because parents are so stupid that they're playing these kids 1,000 freaking games a year because they feel like they have to. And the problem too is the coaches don't help either.
It was awful. Maybe
you knew I would start talking crap about youth sports, right?
I know. It's like the off season's almost here. It's like during season we talk Iowa football. During off season we hammer youth sports. So it's almost here. We had a 7th grader when Charlie was 7th or 8th grade a couple of years ago. Anyways, great kid, but he got hurt playing basketball, and I went out there as a coach, and like. I was like, with all of them, like, hey, you're okay. Like, cause I'm not thinking, the last thing I'm thinking is ACL. I'm like, hey, You're fine. Let's get up. Let's get you out of here. We'll get some ice for it, get you moving, like check it. If it's ever an ankle, I'm like, hey, let's tighten that thing up and get up and move on it a little bit. See if you can get back in. Yeah. and I kind of give him a hard time a little bit, like in a nice way, like, come on, let's go here, we're good. I look at him like, you want to go back? He's like, no, I can't. I'm like, all right, whatever. Torn ACL. I never thought in a million years we get to a point where this is what we're doing in youth sports, and it's become a thing. And I didn't even think it was possible. So it's weird. None of my kids, and you're probably nicer, but like I when they get hurt, unless I see blood or something, like I just yell at them to get up. I don't know if you're the same way, but I don't know what it is, but I just yell, get up.
But if it's somebody else's kid, it's like, hey. But no, when my kid ran into the fence the other day, but in 6th grade and broke his face, that was 5th grade. He's like, oh, and I'm like, dude, you're fine. Come here. Like, you're fine. Like, toughen up. And he opens up his mouth and he's got no teeth and his jaw's broken, just hanging there. So I felt like a real jerk.
Charlie got hurt in the game last year. Not hurt. He took a little spill, and it was pretty loud. And like the way he hit the ground, it was like, and people were like, oh, and the gym's quiet. And I just in the stands, and I'm used to being his coach, but he's not at the high school level, obviously. And I just yell as quiet as me, get up, like that. And like, everybody, but my thing is like, you're just going to sit there and then you're going to miss 3 minutes of action because you're going to go sit there. You got to get checked by the trainers. And like, oh man, between my wife and my mother-in-law, I thought I was going to get killed. And I'm like, and one of them was like, he's hurt. I'm like, no, he'll be back in 3 minutes. I promise you. And like, sure enough, in 3 minutes, he goes to the scores table and I'm like, oh, it's a miracle. Oh my God, like prayers have been answered. But like my wife reminded me, it still does. I might have been right. I still sound like an asshole. And she's probably right when it comes to that as well. So.
I mean, honestly, if we're not being assholes as dads and we're not really doing our job, right?
You would think I would agree with that. I do want to talk Iowa football with you. I'm so glad that you're alive. Like anybody who was wondering, Pat is alive.
I'm hanging on, brother. If this shot doesn't work, Tampa's going to be rough. Tampa's going to be rough.
But you know what? Corey will take care of you.
Corey will, and that warm weather, it'll hopefully loosen this old man up.
Between you and Dolph, Corey's going to have a lot on his plate. Like just to,
the thing is, you would think that Dolph's back would be hurting for carrying me for 2 seasons.
Bingo. That's well done. I'll clip that and put it on social media. Just make sure he hears it. I'll get you your credit. Iowa, we haven't talked since, I don't think, because I left you alone last week. Ever since a couple Thursdays ago, you were like this way talking to me. I'm like, I'll leave him alone. Your thoughts when it comes through Vandy, an interesting quarterback to say the least. Your thoughts on the Iowa Vanderbilt matchup coming up down in beautiful Tampa, Florida.
Yeah, I really like it. It's a great opportunity. It's going to be a tough challenge. And this team all year we've been very close to these big wins, and this is a really good opportunity for us to get one of those. Offensively they're very explosive. They do a lot. They like to get to the outside. They've got athletes, and their quarterback, he's tough. Obviously, what I like about the matchup is that nobody's talking about us. Everybody's talking about them. They're talking about the quarterback. There's a lot of noise there, and Iowa's just training and getting better and improving and going to show up for a battle. But Pavi is good. I think the one thing with him is he's and I don't know him, but just like reading stuff he said and that's been talked about him and all that stuff. I think he always feels like it's like him against the world. And that can be a good thing. I think that's one of the reasons that makes him like really, really good. Because when you watch him play, like he plays with the chip on his shoulder, he competes every single time. But the one, it can be detrimental in obviously in real life, so you kind of got to be able to, kind of like, hey, this is when I'm going up against the world. And this is when like, hey, people are on my side, but it's just, that's what makes him really, really good is that it's him versus the world. And the team plays with that mindset as well too. He's clearly a big leader and makes a ton of freaking plays. And the one thing, like the him against the world, the chip on the shoulder, like literally the only thing that probably could fix is that something like he wants the ball in his hands all the time. There's sometimes maybe he should pitch it or maybe he should do that, but he's trying to make a play all the time. And that's not bad. Like that's not a bad thing, but he's going to take the hits that he shouldn't take because he's just out there fighting and competing, but he's tough. They got good running backs. They're really good out of the backfield, catching the ball. Their receivers are talented. Like I said, they do try to get to the outside, get the edge. So Our DNs are going to have to play really well. Our corners are going to have to contain and set the edge as well, and our linebackers are really going to have to play well and flow to the ball. I was watching the Missouri game because I was just kind of like, all right, when did he really not do well? And it was like, well, Missouri, and it wasn't like he did bad, but it was like this was his lowest stats. And Missouri, their DNs did a really good job. Their corners did well. Their linebackers throwed the ball. They won on first and second down. I think they were rarely ever in third and short. And that's obviously what we're going to have to try to do. Defensively, they do a lot of blitzes off the edge. I think interiorly, I think we have a huge advantage with our O-line. I think our guy's going to grind it out and turn into a scrap. But I don't think the hard part's going to be scoring on them. I think the hard part's going to be stopping them. And obviously, we got a good guy in Phil Parker to figure that out. And I really like how our guys have been playing. And it'll be a tough challenge, but man, to get that win would be really huge for this season. It would really put a cherry on top of this season because I think these guys really deserve it. And what I love too about this Iowa team, no opt-outs. Everyone's playing. How awesome is that? That shows the culture and the commitment that these guys have to each other. And it's just another one of the other many reasons why I really like this Iowa team.
It's funny. That's kind of builds off what I was going to just ask you. You get your bowl assignment wherever you're going back in your days, and you're excited, you're pumped. You look at the trip, the opponent, all those kind of things. You get back to work. It's not that way in college football anymore. It's like who's going to play, who's not going to play, opt-ins, opt-out, all that kind of stuff. For Iowa, it seems old school, and maybe I'm wrong, but it seems old school where it's like the good old days where it's like, I don't know if they're good old days, but the old days where they're like, this is our opponent. We get another opportunity. This is the biggest thing going in our lives right now. Let's go beat Vanderbilt. Or for your case, it was let's go beat Georgia Tech or whatever was the opponent. Do you kind of agree that it's like, well, the rest of college football's weird, like Iowa still has that, old school mentality of let's just go play football?
Yeah, and I think the hard part nowadays, obviously, is really the hardest part is you've got these agents who don't know shit. They're advising these players to sit out. These 99% of these agents are idiots, and I'll say it that way. None of them play. None of them know anything. So that's the hard part. And that's tough. These kids they're listening to these agents, and these agents say, "Oh, sit out. You're going to go first round." Blah blah blah. Well, you know what? What's going to make you go first round if you freaking play and kick the shit out of everybody. Like that's going to make you go first round. How about you just do that? How about you be a team? How about you be a teammate and freaking go there with your guys and finish what you started? But no, Iowa for the most part, we usually have guys that play because that's what we're about. Anytime you get an opportunity to get better and show what you got and play alongside your teammates, like you have to do that because trust me, like. I played in the NFL and did all that stuff, playoffs and all that. And, if I could go back, I'd play Iowa football game again if I could choose.
You're not, and Pat Anger, by the way, joining us on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo, you're not an Iowa State guy. You're not a Cyclone, but there was some big moves in Ames since the last time we talked. What's your overall thought process, or what's your opinions of what you saw in Ames with Matt Campbell leaving, Jimmy Rogers, who doesn't like the Hawkeyes, we found out at the basketball game, is in now. Your thoughts on the changes of what's going on with Iowa State?
Yeah, obviously it's tough for Iowa State. Losing Matt Campbell. Matt Campbell's a great coach. But I think it's a no-brainer for him to take that job. Like, why would you not? Especially with the financial situation Iowa State came out and said they were having. You can get better recruits at Penn State. You can do more. You can get more financial backing, and he's going to get paid a lot more. Like, why would you absolutely not do it? And he did. Gosh, give him his props. He did a lot of really great things at Iowa State. I think. And what's kind of interesting is I think Penn State needed him more than he needed Penn State. I think, and maybe I'm giving him too much credit, but I think he's going to do a really good job out there. Jimmy Rogers, don't know much about him other than this is his third head coaching job in 4 years. So he might be another one that is next best thing comes along. He might take another job here in a couple of years. Who knows? But the one thing I guess with coaching is like, you never know when those opportunities are going to come. Like, let's say, Matt Campbell says no and then has like a bad year next year at Iowa or Iowa State. And, then like no one's ever going to talk about him ever again. It's just like you've got to take in coaching. I guess you got to strike when the iron's hot. I think Matt did that. And I think what Jimmy Rogers or whatever his name is, I think he did that as well too. Even though who knows? I mean, three head coaching jobs in 4 years. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So hopefully there's some stability there for the Iowa State fans.
He doesn't like Iowa. Well, your thoughts on his halftime speech? Is that something you don't care about? And obviously, just to make sure you know what I'm talking about, or the people know what I'm talking about. He expletive doesn't like Iowa when it comes to and in front of the crowd. Are you okay with that? Are you fire him up? Let's go, or your thoughts on that? Or you not care?
I don't know. I mean, he's not supposed to like us, right? We're not supposed to like him.
True.
Obviously, it's something. I guess it's probably not fair to him. It's probably not fair to other coaches. But I usually compare, like, hey, how would Coach Ferentz handle a situation, and compare it to that. It's something Coach Ferentz would never do and never say. And he may think it, right? But he's too professional to do it. And I don't know. The guy played linebacker for South Dakota State. Or one of the teams. Was it South Dakota State where he played linebacker?
Yeah.
So it's like obviously he's messed up in the head. I'm the same way. Sometimes say the F word. I don't really care. He's not supposed to like us. We're not. Huh?
You say the F word sometimes?
Sometimes, yeah. He's not supposed to like us, and we're not supposed to like him, and whatever he wants to say, whatever, it doesn't matter. We're gonna play and next year anyway and kick the crap out of him. So who gives a shit?
I love it. It's funny because it took him 2 days to drop the F-bomb, and you have been doing this for 2 years now, and everyone thought you would. No, look at you. You're a wily old fox. You know what you're doing. Before I let you go.
Professional, man.
Yeah, that's when I think Pat Anger. I think professional. I got a couple more before I let you go. Did you watch the last match for John Cena? And your thoughts? Are you a Cena guy? Are you like, is that so? For me, like I appreciate him, I like him, I don't hate him, but like I'm not the hugest Cena guy. When he was becoming really popular, I was getting married and starting to have kids, so I wasn't as locked into wrestling as I was, and unfortunately as I am now. So I was like my little off time. So I appreciate it all, but are you a Cena guy first and foremost?
I mean, I like John Cena. I'm kind of exactly like you are. Like I appreciate him. I appreciate what he's done for wrestling, and I think he's hilarious. The last couple movies have been in are phenomenal. But I did not like how it ended. I didn't like that he tapped out.
Why?
I didn't like it because his whole freaking thing is never give up. That's his whole motto.
So are you okay with him?
Were
you okay with him losing, but just not tapping out?
I knew he was going to lose.
Okay.
I mean, that's what every guy in their retirement match loses.
Yep.
So I knew he was going to lose. I just didn't. I thought he was going to go out. I thought he was going to go unconscious.
Yeah. Did you see his face when he did it? He had like almost a smirk on his face, like all right, you guys making me do that. Do you think he was a little annoyed by it, or do you think that was just like his way of saying, "Okay, we're done"?
I think he was annoyed by it.
Okay.
But I would assume that I'd assume he's got some say in how he goes out, right?
I would hope so.
Yeah.
And I think he knows to put like Gunther's now like super heat, like has ultimate heel. Like tonight, if you watch Monday Night Raw, you probably hit his music at the very beginning and people boo and go crazy and like he's made him. And then also flip it, like he's going to go out there and talk tonight, and then all of a sudden somebody's music's going to hit. And that person's going to be now a huge baby face because they're going to go up again. Could it be Pat Anger's music? You, my friend, did you have a retirement match? Have you had a retirement match?
No, because I like to keep it up in the air. Obviously, the difference between me and John Cena is I've never lost.
That's true. How did you lose the championship belts?
Well, I just, I said, hey, I'm gonna step away from the sport.
Okay. That's what I thought. So you just vacated the title, if you will.
Yeah.
Wow. So you've never lost a wrestling. Now with the back,
I mean,
it probably doesn't seem like something's going to happen again.
Well, it might need a couple surgeries prior to to get going. Yeah, I'm the only guy in the history of the world to have 20 tackles in an NFL game and be an undefeated pro wrestler. The only guy in the history of the world. No one in the world's done that. No one in the world. And nobody talks about it.
I think you're probably right. That's probably real?
No, it's 100% real. No one's done it. No one will ever do it again either.
And what has it got you? Where's it gotten you? It's gotten you on your couch with a bad back talking to Matt Randazzo on a YouTube show. God bless you. Man, you capitalized on that, didn't you?
Yeah,
hey, before we go, can we say hi to I feel like I've kept you too long, but I don't know if I'm ever going to talk to you again. Every time I talk to you now, I'm afraid I'm never going to see you again. That's how bad I think the back is.
Kill me. They can't kill me, brother. They've been trying for years. They ain't found a way to kill me yet.
Will it hurt you to grab the dog or no? If it will, just don't say anything.
Whoa.
Oh, look at that.
Whoa.
Hey, Bo.
Hey, hi. Here, come here, Bo. Come here, say hi to everyone.
Don't hurt yourself, Patrick.
Oh gosh.
Hey, Bo.
Say hi to everybody.
Why am I doing this? I love it. Why? Your dog looks exactly like my dog. It's crazy. Except my dog's a little hellion. That's a good dog right there.
He's been taking care of me. He's been taking care of us.
Well, Pat, I don't know if I'll bug you again before Christmas. Maybe. I haven't set my schedule yet for next week. You tell me, what should I work next week with it being Christmas week?
I think you should take the week off, brother.
Ooh, I like that. Hey, you know what's coming up? On January 6th?
Oh, God.
What? What are you laughing about?
Oh.
I
don't know what anniversary you're talking about.
It's my year anniversary.
Oh, there you go.
We're going to do it up big. I'm going to bug you about it. Hopefully you're not in a wheelchair by then. We're going to I think we're going to go to, and I haven't planned it all out yet, but I think we're going to do a live show from Godfather's. Huh?
Oh, I was thinking Hooters. Godfather's even better.
Yeah. A little pizza, a little bacon cheeseburger pizza, something like that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Godfather's is good stuff.
Right now.
What's that?
I love the way you're talking to me right now. Bo, stop it. That's gross.
Was he licking you?
He's licking himself on camera.
Well, better him than you. Let's be honest. All right, this is deteriorating. So, thank you for laughing at my anniversary date. It's what it is. It just happened to fall like that.
It didn't happen. All the dates in the world.
It was a Monday. I wasn't going to wait till you got to start on a Monday.
I
now
guess
it's a Tuesday.
Your show, you can start wherever you want.
Yeah, I guess so. So, all right, buddy, be good. If I don't talk to you, have a good Christmas. If we do talk to you, we'll have some fun again. So, be good, buddy. Appreciate you.
See you, man.
All right, the great Pat Anger and Bo. Bo is there as well, loving life and licking himself. I'm so proud that at least Bo was the one licking themselves, and not Pat. But God, who knows? Who knows with that guy sometimes. We got a lot more to get to on today's show. Really excited. Coming up after the break, it was a good weekend, a good Friday night for Moline, led by their junior guard, Brady Welch. Had a fantastic game. Rocky beat Moline. We're going to chat with Brady Welch about that performance and much more. We got John Marx coming with stuff about the NFL, the Bears. Obviously, huge news in the NFL with two of the game's biggest stars suffering ACL injuries and are now out for the season. All of that. Plus, we're going to have Don Umland on later in the show. We talked to little John Cena right there. We're talking some professional wrestling and that last match. We got a lot to get to. It's OTA on a Monday right here in the Quad Cities. Don't go away. All right, be honest. Are you craving Hungry Hobo again? You know, that fresh sliced meat piled high on those amazing sandwiches, hot off the grill chicken and steak, with all those delicious toppings, the biggest and best selection of baked potatoes, or simply some waffle fries dipped in cheese. Well, now that Quad City favorite is even easier to get. Download the Hungry Hobo app today. Order ahead, skip the line, and earn rewards all at the same time. There's Double Points Monday and exclusive specials as well. With 12 locations in the Quad City area, it's Hungry Hobo, now even easier to find, but still hard to resist.
Rafferty Funeral Home, dedicated to serving families in the Quad Cities since 2007.
Hi, welcome. Here, come on in.
An experienced staff plans each service to reflect the unique life and legacy of your loved one. Rafferty Funeral Home is proud to serve our community with dignity, respect, and compassion, helping you to celebrate your traditions and lasting memories no matter your faith, culture, or budget. Rafferty Funeral Home in Moline. Call today to discuss prearrangements.
When it comes to quality, convenient pizza, Godfather's Pizza in Silvis has you covered. Featuring a beautiful dine-in area, delivery, and a carry-out window. Godfather's Pizza is that pizza you grew up with, not a convenience store. You see, at Godfather's Pizza, the dough is made fresh daily. That mozzarella cheese is shredded fresh and never frozen. And those toppings are abundantly piled high each and every time. Locally owned and operated since 2010, Godfather's is a huge supporter of local athletes right here in the Quad Cities. So come on by and check them out at 1211 Avenue of the Cities in Silvis. Order online at godfathers.com and reunite with that same delicious pizza you grew up with. Welcome back to Off Day with Matt Randazzo here on a Monday in the Quad Cities and a great weekend of sports around the area. And it started on Friday night with some great high school basketball on both sides of the river. Of course, the headline game in the Western Big Six was that rivalry at Rock Island. We went and did the show on Friday from Rock Island Fieldhouse for good reason. Moline, Rock Island in a big game in the Western Big Six. And it was Moline going on the road and knocking off the Rocks 54-51 in overtime. And it was Brady Welch scoring 29 of those 54 points. And he joins us right now on OTA. Brady, first and foremost, congratulations. That was a fun Friday night, wasn't it?
Yes, very fun Friday night.
Take me through it because obviously you guys have been road warriors this season. We'll kind of talk about some other big wins, but to go on the road and win at Rock Island in that type of environment, what did it mean to this team?
Well, obviously, we knew it was going to be tough. They got 5 talented players. We knew they'd be a tough team, and we had to prep all week and just coming in knowing we could get this win and just play hard.
Obviously, it was a battle throughout. I want to talk to you about the environment first. You've grown up watching this environment and this rivalry. Your brothers have played in it before. Obviously, you were ready for it. And you've been in it. What was Friday night like at that place with that crowd and the environment? It had to be a bunch of fun.
Yeah, it's always nice going into those environments, knowing that everyone's against you, and just nice when you get to go out with the dub against that environment and that team.
You guys played a slower pace maybe. Obviously, Rock Island scoring a lot of points this season as well. Kind of talk about the game plan coming in because it wasn't high scoring. It wasn't, Brock and Owen and your brother and all those guys weren't there scoring 80 points. What was the maybe game plan coming in when it came to playing Rock Island this past Friday night?
Try to hold them we knew their team average was a lot of points, so we knew we had to try to keep them down low and stop their transition and get them in the half court and rebound the ball. And don't turn the ball over.
You guys got to overtime, and you made some big shots, big free throws throughout overtime, throughout the fourth quarter. What is that situation like, and what are you going through individually as you continue to make big shot, clutch free throw, all the things that you experienced on Friday night?
I love being in those moments. It's just – I don't know. I like being in those moments and taking that shot for the team, and we win or lose by those shots. So I'm willing to do those shots.
To leave that place with a victory. And I know so far this season, you guys have gone to the Panther Den and left with a victory, and you've gone to Rock Island and left with a victory. What do those wins mean when it comes to maybe the big picture in the Western Big Six and also confidence for your team as you move forward?
That means a lot, obviously, for us as a team. And we know where we are now. Like, we kind of got a good bound for ourselves and know that, obviously, we can be pretty good. We just got to keep building and working hard every day.
Brady, our
ceiling's pretty high.
We did the Western Big Six banquet. Before the season, there was talk of other teams, and then Moline got mentioned eventually. what did you guys hear, and what did you guys think going in? Because there were unknowns with Moline of what it was going to look like. Where were you guys coming into the season? And I don't want to say did you hear the doubters, but did you hear the people not knowing what to expect from you guys?
Yeah, I feel like they all expected us as underdogs and thought we weren't. They saw our team and didn't think that we would be as accomplished in all this stuff. So it's nice down all those haters. So.
I was going to say, did you guys take that? And what did you know, I guess, that maybe other people on the outside looking in, what is it about this team that maybe you liked this summer and moving into this year that maybe others didn't know yet?
We're always willing to get better, and I feel like we're really connected. That team chemistry goes a long way. So, and willing to play for each other.
That head coach of yours has won a few games. We'll put it that way. A lot of games, especially in the Western Big Six. What did it mean to get that victory? Not just for you guys, for him, and how important is he to what obviously you guys are doing? And I know it's listening and learning and all those kind of things, but talk to me about your head coach and what he means to this group of Maroons.
Yeah, he's definitely a big part of our success. He gets us ready for the week and puts us in those positions to succeed.
I want you to go back a little. Oh, go ahead.
I'm just saying every week and every night. Game night.
Put me into your shoes, because before this game, you've watched a lot of games from Moline and Rock Island. Do you remember what's your favorite Rock Island memory, I guess, before this one? And then where does this one rank when it comes to the ones you've seen from Moline in the past?
I think this one's definitely up there just because of how much they overlooked us, I feel like, and they weren't expecting us to come out with that win at the Rock Garden. So, but I don't really know as opposed to all the other ones. Sure. To be honest.
No, absolutely.
But this was definitely up there for sure.
No, I bet. Talk to me big picture for this team, because you guys getting close to Christmas. You got Alleman. I think it's a busy week. I know you have Orion, Alleman, and then the shootout as well. How quickly do you have to forget about what happened on Friday night, because it is still December and there's still a lot of basketball to be played this season?
Just enjoy the night, and then Saturday. You kind of got to flush it and just keep working. And we got to know we got a lot more games to go and can't think about this one too much. Individually, so.
I know you're a team player. I want to talk about yourself, because you've had a heck of a career already at Moline. What was Friday night like, and where do you see yourself when it comes to your own development and maybe people taking notice a little more? I had a buddy this weekend text me and say he was at the game that say Brady Welch is the best player in the Western Big Six. Where is your game gone, and where do you want it to go, I guess, maybe after this as well?
Just trying to improve in every element of the game and just trying to stay one step ahead of everything that goes on the floor.
No, absolutely. Brady Welch from Moline joining me right now on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. We talked predictions and standings and all that kind of stuff. What's this team's expectations for this year? And can you guys see yourself getting better? You mentioned to me before we started some of the younger players that are taking bigger roles on this team. Can you see maybe the guys around you getting better as this thing moves on?
Yeah, I think every day is another day to get better, and I think everyone's taking advantage of those opportunities. I know we're young and all that, but I think we're all developing and working together, and I think we can make a run for it in the playoffs. So.
Tell me about this team, and we see it on the court, so I don't want to know about it on the court. What's this team like off the court? And when it comes to being teammates and goofiness and all those kind of things that teams have, tell me about this team off the court. What do you guys like as friends, as high schoolers, if you will?
They're all fun to be around. They're all great people, and we all like being with each other, which I think helps a lot on the court. And they're all kind of goofballs, but on the court they're serious, but we like to have fun too.
I love it. Brady Welch joining me right now and Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Your brothers played in this program, and Grant's got this state championship I'm sure he talks about over and over and over again. What have you learned from them? And maybe especially Grant, who played on that biggest stage. What did you? I'm gonna make you be nice to your brothers right now. What did you learn from your older brothers as you continued to grow up and now you're in the position that you're in?
You just gotta attack every opportunity that you get, and you just gotta keep getting better every day, and you gotta work every day and get better and work on your game. And
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I get you. Take me. Obviously, you were around and watching closely when those guys won that state championship. Now that you're in this position and you're doing these things, what's it like for you? And I'm sure you grew up when they're having that state run and winning state championships and sectionals and regionals and all that kind of stuff. You dreamt of being in this spot one day, didn't you?
Yeah, for sure.
What's it like now being in that spot?
It's awesome. I don't got much. To be
Yeah,
honest.
no, I get you. All right, let's have some fun with you because there are 4 Welch boys. I have 4 boys of my own. So, who's the best Welch in basketball?
Me
Right now.
You're looking at him.
Okay,
You're
all
looking
right.
at him.
So if we bracketed out a tournament over Christmas with the Welch boys playing 1-on-1, kind of rank it for me, if you will. Is it Grant at least number 2? And I know Colton can play as well.
Yeah. I think me and then Grant and then Colin and Thomas, maybe. It depends what day it is.
Okay. When's the last time you played basketball against your brother? Let's use Grant for an example. Obviously playing college basketball right now. When's the last time you guys played 1-on-1? Be honest with me.
Probably when he was home.
What happened?
Oh, I got him a couple times.
What did he get you? Did he get you though?
Yeah, he got me a few times, but it was pretty even.
Is
It was
it
pretty even.
is it pretty heated, pretty spirited? Kind of take me through a basketball game there in the Welch household.
It gets a little heated sometimes. Don't always agree with the call that they make or something like that, but it's always fun though.
I love
competing
it.
with my brothers.
I love it. Who's a better shooter, you or Grant?
Me.
Who's better
doubt.
Who's better looking, you or Grant?
Me for sure. Grant.
Who's smarter? Last one. Who's smarter, you or Grant? You might give him that one.
That one, I'll give myself that one too.
I love it. It's a clean sweep. All right, I want to have some fun with you. Not that we're not already, but you can have dinner with anybody you want in the entire world. 1-on-1 dinner. Who would it be and why?
Probably Steph Curry.
Because
Just because I look up to him, and I think he's a good person on and off the court, and I like the way he plays the game of basketball.
that's a good answer. Favorite team feed, favorite team meal before a game for you guys, and why?
Like that they bring for the team feed.
Either
On
that
Thursday?
or don't you guys usually do probably a Thursday or whatever before a meal? What's the favorite one you get?
Maybe, I mean, you can't go wrong with pizza, but I'd probably say maybe chicken Alfredo always hits.
Okay, I like that.
Wrong with you.
I'm hungry, so I like that. Do you guys have a place to go celebrate? Like after you beat Rock Island or whenever, do you guys have a post meal someplace, a post place you're going to go eat, all those kind of things? Do you as a team or yourself have that post game meal or celebration?
Yeah, me, the team, and some of the student section guys, the fans, we'll go down to Steak and Shake after big wins and go celebrate down there, get a burger, some fries.
That's a Moline tradition. For some reason I feel like Brock and those guys did the same thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's the meal? What's the order? If you go there on a Friday night, what are you putting away?
A steak burger, fries, and just water.
Oh, no shake?
Nah.
All right. Let's have some fun with you for Christmas before we let you go. All right. Give me a thumbs up or thumbs down on these. Christmas music. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Okay.
Thumbs up.
You got a favorite Christmas song? If you don't, no big deal.
No.
All right. I won't make you sing for me then. I won't make you sing. Eggnog. Thumbs up or thumbs down? And you've tried it too, right?
I've never even had it.
Okay. I've had it.
I don't think I'd like it.
You're not missing much. I've had it. You're not missing much, in my opinion. Favorite Christmas gift you've ever gotten?
That's a tough one.
Yeah. You've gotten too much stuff, Brady.
Probably just some shoes.
Okay. I got it. I like it. Do you have a favorite holiday tradition? What's your favorite part of the holidays? Whether it's presents, whether it's family, whether it's meal, is there a Welch holiday tradition? Does your dad dress up as Santa and you guys do like what is the holiday tradition in the Welch household?
Hanging out with my family and cousins. They come in town.
Love it.
Get to hang around them and gather with all of them, which is I like.
Love it.
Good
Love
family.
it. Oh, okay. Before we let you go too, let's talk about the rest of the season. We'll finish with basketball. How do you guys approach the rest of the way? Obviously, maybe underlooked early on. I don't know if you'll be underlooked anymore after you go to the Panther Den and go to Rock Island Fieldhouse and win. How do you guys approach the rest of the way as you guys get a little more attention from people?
I keep approaching it the same way as we have. Going in thinking we can win it, knowing we can win every game if we play our best, and just keep building, stacking days.
Do you have a Sean Taylor story or impression or anything goofy when it comes to that guy? He's one of the funniest people I've ever met. You know that.
Yeah. He's pretty funny. I'm trying to think if I can think of one.
Obviously, no impression.
There's a lot of them. Huh?
You don't do a impression?
No, not impression.
I would stay away from that, and I don't want you to get in trouble. You have to go to practice
Exactly.
and all that kind of stuff.
Gotta stay on the good side.
He's a goofball, isn't he?
Yeah, he's funny.
I love it.
We'll get you.
All right, Brady, I appreciate it. This was fantastic. Your family is one of my favorite families. So keep doing good things. Keep winning basketball games. Keep proving those doubters wrong. And we'll catch up with you again real soon. I appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Awesome. That is Brady Welch joining us on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Moline. How about that? They go to the Panther Den and win already, and then they follow that up with a victory at Rock Island. Of course, they'll play those two teams later in the year, but they get those both those games at Wharton Fieldhouse, so that should be a ton of fun once again as well. We got more to get to. You're watching Off the Air on a Monday. We'll be right back.
Give me the keys. Learning to drive can be stressful for both the student and, yes, the parent as well. Relax. There's an easy way to avoid the stress. Skiles Driving School in East Moline has been helping new drivers hit the road with confidence for over 20 years. Whether you're a teen earning your first license or an adult looking for behind-the-wheel training, we've got you covered. Their certified instructors are patient, experienced, and use modern vehicles equipped for safety and comfort. From classroom instruction to real-world driving, we make learning safe, affordable, and even fun. Call 309-278-0098 or visit skylesdriving.com. Skiles Driving School. Get in, buckle up, drive your future forward.
Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Monday in the Quad Cities. Every Monday, I just have to take a deep breath and go, my Monday shows are really easy because there's so many things that have happened that it's easy to fill up a show. And I have to take a deep breath and go, God, what am I going to talk about? Because there's a bunch to get to. And then I think to myself, well, it's always good to have somebody else that likes to talk. I don't know if anybody listens to us, Johnny, but we like to talk and have opinions. John Marx joined me right now on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. How was your weekend? Good?
Fabulous. Jack got to come home for the first time ever. Early in December, and the weather was nasty, but we still went out and hung out and worked out. You know this because your children are growing and getting better. When you say, you and I have worked out together forever. Hey, can I go with you when you train on Saturday? I just want, and foolish. I had a regular workout session on Friday. I thought, hey, I'm going to get ahead. I'll go hang out with the college dude who does this every morning at 5 a.m. And I got my backside kicked. And to say the least, and you're up moving on. Yesterday, I was grateful that I stayed in and got to watch the Bears.
You know what?
Because I couldn't move.
It's funny because I'm to the point now where if you get a snowfall, like it's the same way in baseball season. I enjoy everything, but if it's gonna have a stormy weekend, just be the stormy weekend and like get it out of the way and cancel everything. And for this, like Saturday kind of put a freeze on everything, and it was kind of nice. We had some games, but not as many as we avoided a trip to Dixon, which is okay because we are 10 days away from Christmas, and there's a lot to get to. So I enjoy ever so often having like those kind of days where you can kind of get caught up, be forced to stay inside, be forced to watch football, all those kind of things, Christmas movies, all those kind of things. It was a fun weekend. Before we get moving too long about the weekend and the sports that were and all those kind of things, we got a lot to talk about because the Bears, the Packers, and a huge injury and all that kind of stuff. We talked about it. We did a couple broadcasts with MC22 last week, yep. But we found out last Tuesday, I believe it was, that we lost a great friend, Jim Albracht, passing away unexpectedly at the age of 74. We've talked about it on those broadcasts, but I wanted to bring it back, and we talked about it here several times last week. Johnny, when it comes to like the word legend is thrown around a lot these days. That guy was a legend, and not just in TV or radio. He was just a legend, one in media and then two in life. Your thoughts on our good friend, Jim Albracht?
Again, Matty, as I've shared with you and countless others, 40 years ago when it wasn't cool, he gave me my start in radio. Again, I talked about that, and that's how you and I are sitting here today, was because of him. And then he helped me get my start with some television stuff, and then back with radio. My show on KJOC was as much Dan Burridge, but with Jim Albracht, who taught me how to do it. And then I was his host every time he would go do something with Iowa. I would host his show. I had to get up at 4 o'clock. I hated that, but I had to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to host Albracht in the AM. And that was an honor for me. Yeah. He was encouraging. And I said, Jim, anytime you see something that I need to work on, please tell me. And he would do it in a fashion, Maddie, that would A, make me feel like $1 million, and B, help me the next time. And you know this, you've had mentors. And you mentioned that Hall of Fame, that Mount Rushmore, and with the Sharps and Cornelises and we'll use Paula, et cetera. And then he's there. I mean, you take the radio. I think Burball is on there, and with TV, and then you've got Jim, and then the people that I just mentioned. He was there, but and if you'll notice in all the tributes and everybody talking, not one person said, hey, Jim Albracht was a pain in the backside to me, or Jim Albracht didn't lend me a hand when I asked him.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
We always joke about that, and you and I have dealt with enough people in our business who we just so you guys out there know, we're talking about you with your egos. Yeah. And you and I have bigger egos than the state of Montana. But there's always somebody who thinks they're pretty cool, especially the young guys out there. Usually a weather guy locally who thinks he's pretty cool, but we'll make fun of him and we'll say, look, realize where you're at and how old you are. And he was never that way. He made, I used to think that KFMH in Muscatine had its run, and then he would never let it. He and Steve Bridges, they'd never let it. It was cool, and he turned me on to that. So again, he was, and you couldn't. He would never want if you did a broadcast, and you understand this. If I did a broadcast with him, and I did hundreds, he would want me to meet him at Allman, and we would ride together in his car, to talk about the teams, what was going on, wherever we were going. And he had to tell me he was going to the cabin that weekend in Wisconsin, which was his getaway. Everybody, that's one of our favorite lines. It's like my wife, son, and I about graduation and grad school. We just got to get to Cincinnati. It's an inside joke. And his thing for everything that was frustrating to him in life, man, I just got to get to the cabin. It's all going to be good. And I loved him. And again, I could go 2 weeks without talking to him. I could go 2 months without talking to him, and then picking up the phone or in a text thread, it was like we talked the day before.
Yeah. It's amazing because, and I'll be, like I said on another show, there's Dan Burridge's and Dan Pearson's, yourself, other, like, when it comes to mentors, direct mentors, there's probably more that had a hands-on, can be blamed more for me than Jim Albracht is the best way to put it. But it was eye-opening when I got to work with him for the first time. And I'll say the same thing. Dan Pearson, I interned for, so I worked with, but we had never been on the same broadcast till he was a guest griller a few years ago. Yeah. And it was just like, it's different. And I think that's the way it was for me. He was always very generous, very nice. Every time I call him, Daz, what's going on? What can I, like, everything was always, and I remember doing a game on MC22, probably for the shootout one year. And we were paired up in a game, and it was just different. And I remember thinking to myself, like, we got through the first segment of the thing, and I'm just like, that's different. That's Jim Albracht. He does it different. And then I started thinking off the air kind of stuff, because he would always talk to me, and everybody, all the tributes kind of talk about this. I think Chris Miner put on our Facebook, the sports corner was where you went to. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, that's where, and people think like, well, why is it that way? It's because of the personalities. And like, he was one of them. Like, I wasn't around when he was in that newsroom, but like I was around when Dan Birch was in that newsroom, and it's very similar. It's because you're fun, you're entertaining, you're energetic, you're a people person. You want to talk to everybody. And I'll follow that up with, it's not that way anymore. They've taken that all away. So that kind of like that, and that's another thing that made me think, like, he was as old school as you get off the air as well, where you have fun. You mentioned we're going to go to the game together. That's because that's what you did. Like, are we going to have a show together? Okay, let's go over the corner and talk about it and get ready for it. Yep. And those days were kind of gone. He never seen him in a bad mood. I asked Bill Horrell on Friday, who stopped by, did the show. I said, hey, like, did you ever see him in a bad mood? You worked with him for forever in the same building. And he's like, I don't think I ever saw him in a bad mood. So I think that's the other thing is, he taught you how to be off the air. Like, so many people look and say, like, that's how you want to aspire to be when it comes to calling a game or calling a highlight or doing a show. And now, you look at him, and I think I learned the last couple of years, how to treat people maybe off the air when it comes to him, and having that humbleness to him. So, he is greatly missed. He'll continue to be greatly missed. Go ahead, Johnny.
Two things real quick. He was adopted, and Sylvester and his mom were two of the most kind. His dad was in D-Day, and his adoptive dad was in D-Day, and he goes, look, whatever I have to deal with in life couldn't have been more than that man trying to storm that beach that day. So that was his outlook. It was always positive. He and Bobby Donker, who was somebody I love dearly, were close friends, and I loved being around him. But if you recall, he used to get in trouble for flicking the pencil at the at the camera at the end and then you know what it's like. You can't, and someone he still continued to do it. And if you ever watched, and Tom Cornellis says if he ever writes a book, he's going to say only the weathermen wear pants. And you know what I'm talking about, being on camera. You've worn jeans before with your sport coat, and Jimmy would wear shorts. He'd wear sweatpants. He'd have the tie and jacket. Again, he didn't care because he only saw him from the waist up.
Yeah.
And again, live TV, that's his favorite thing. Dude, it's live TV. You got to roll with it.
Yes. I mean, that's the big, and I learned that early is like, it's live TV, it's live radio, it's live whatever. He was he was very good to me when I got the Hawkeye pregame gig. I called and talked to him, and we did a segment for the show, which is awesome to look back on now. I watched it 3 times last week, and I went back to get it to pull a clip. And like, I almost said to myself, I should just rerun the whole thing.
You can't pull
I pulled some, but like, and I went up watching it several times, and he just told me, he's like, hey, like, just have fun and run with it. Like you know, and everything, like life was a party. It was like, hey, let's have fun and run with it. And if it doesn't work out, and I think that's the beauty part with Jim, is that like, he lived his life his way until the very end. And I think he would have hated to be, if there's never a silver lining, but is that he didn't go through bad years and have to like not be Jim. You know what I mean? He was, and you know what? I also went and watched a couple of his according to Jim's that he did for WQAD. What a crazy concept. Here we are, and this TV's different than it was now. And he was the guy that's like, hey, give me a couple minutes every night, whatever. I think it was Mondays or whatever, twice a week or whatever it was. And I'm just going to rant about some subject, and he hit on some ones that were pretty interesting, and he didn't shy away from those kind of things either.
And his good friend Larry Rasmussen loved him, and that was he wrote a column for us, and then did Jim. And as you said, he loved a party. He was en route to a party when he passed. Meredith's health had been there'd been some struggles the last couple of years. They weren't going to Vegas. They were on their way to Las Vegas, and he died in the Kansas City airport. So on his way to have a party,
yes,
which is perfect. If
you know what? He's still partying as we speak.
Absolutely.
R.I.P. Jim Albracht. I knew that. It's funny. I almost called you last Wednesday and said, can you hop on and talk about Jim? But you were on Monday, and people like, that's a little too much John Marx. No, I'm kidding.
Absolutely.
No, so
that's my life.
I want to, tell me about it. So I wanted to talk about it this week as well. And you know what? We'll continue to talk about him and for weeks and years to come, because he was, when it comes to the Quad Cities and media here in the Quad Cities, an absolute legend on the air, a legend off the air as well. The weird transition from talking about one of the greats to just talking about normal sports that really do mean nothing. Boy, what a crazy day in the NFL yesterday when it comes to huge injuries, which happen a ton. We talked to Pat Anger about that earlier in the show and what it all means in that aspect. But I want to start with, if you're a Bears fan, and you are, and nobody's perfect, that was
Thank you.
And you hate to. I'm that guy. I really don't. I cringe when injuries happen, and I hate it. And I feel like karma's a you know what. So I don't get. But not only did the Bears win, but the Lions lost, the Packers lost, and the Packers lost arguably their best player. And I think he's their most valuable player. People can talk about the quarterback position, and I understand that. But when it comes to help me out. I'm blanking on his name. Micah Parsons. My gosh, it's Monday. Give me a break. Right. I think he changed their entire team when he came over.
Absolutely. And the thing of that is, they escaped, even though he had 2 sacks, they escaped the wrath of Myles Garrett yesterday several times. Yeah. So yes, yesterday was the perfect day for Bears/news, because you played pretty good football, and you'll understand when I say this. Their op on their field goal, and I don't care how cold it was horrible, and it cost Cairo Sand. I thought I thought momentum switch right there, that when his field goal hit the upright, that was all Scott Daly. If you notice, the ball was the laces back to, just remember who I live with. The laces were back towards the kicker, and Torrey Taylor had to spin that ball, and then it took a really odd trajectory. Matt, this is how it works. The laces have to be facing the opposite way. And, of course, somebody came to Scott Daly's defense, who I was sitting next to, because it couldn't have been the long snapper's fault. But and I saw, here we go. This is Chicago Bears football. The world is going to cave as soon as and here come and luckily their defense played well. Shedeur Sanders was never in control. Say what you want about him. He was never in control of that huddle, B, carrying that football team yesterday as a quarterback. I don't care, rookie or not. He should have. He's really horrible in taking care of things that primarily is controlling the huddle, being the leader, and doing things of that nature. Now that's the Browns. That doesn't matter. The Bears, that's as good a football game as they have played and left me feeling kind of optimistic. The Micah Parsons thing, they're a different football team without him. Josh Jacobs, they didn't run the football very well against the Broncos, but they ran up against one of the best football teams in football yesterday and lost. So Bears fans, yes, you can speak to it, but don't dwell on it because the Packers on the other side of the football can beat you.
Yes, so numerous Bears fans that sent me text messages celebrating Micah Parsons' injury. Stop doing that. It's stupid. Don't do it. Shedeur Sanders is one of the worst. That was one of the worst quarterbacking performances I've ever seen in my entire life. And I'm not taking anything away from the Bears at all. They won 31-3. They dominated the game. He was 7 of 21 at one point. And he had 3 interceptions. He dropped back and looked for Fannin every single time. And in fact, to a point where Wright almost got an interception pick 6 because the whole building knew where he was going to. And if you look at the actual stats of the game as well, Harold Fannin had 14 targets. 7 receptions, 14 targets. Shedeur ended up 8 of Shedeur. I got to be careful. That sounded different. 18 of 35 with 3 interceptions. He was 7 of 21 at one point. I think that's what I had Bears fans texting me after the missed field goal saying this team doesn't put teams away. It did. They could be playing still right now, and the Browns weren't going to score 14 points. Like, that's how bad that offense is right now. And the Bears did what they were supposed to do. Get out of town. Don't worry about any injuries. They didn't do anything stupid. There were some interesting play calls. Bears fans are living my existence for the last 3 years because, you're up 14-0. It's 4th and 3 from midfield, probably a little bit in your own territory, and you punt the football and you give it back to an offense that's been doing nothing, and bang goes for it and doesn't get it. And usually that could spark it wasn't a great, I think the Bears yesterday made some bad decisions. They just played an awful football team. The Caleb Williams touchdown pass into triple coverage is an awful decision. Was it a touchdown? Yes, it's an awful decision. And if he does that next Saturday night against the Packers, it's probably a game-changing interception. So it was a great day overall for the Bears. And you look at it, and we talked a little bit about it, Micah Parsons, that's a guy that, and yes, I know quarterbacks mean a ton. I had somebody say to me, like, it doesn't matter what injuries you have as long as as long as it's not your quarterback. No, like, I think it's the guy who chases after the quarterback that can change the game as well. I'll say this, Johnny, I don't think the Packers can win the Super Bowl now. I flat out don't think the Packers can win the Super Bowl without Micah Parsons. I said the same thing last year when the Lions lost Aiden Hutchinson in week 6 or 7. Like, yeah, they continue to win a lot of games and go 15-2, but they couldn't win the Super Bowl if you can't pressure the quarterback. And now the guy who pressured the quarterback at a better level than anyone in football isn't on your team. I think the biggest news yesterday, wins, losses, all that kind of stuff, is Mike, and it's not even Pat Mahomes because they're eliminated from the postseason. So it wasn't even them and him losing his ACL. Micah Parsons going down is a huge thing. Johnny, can they win the Super Bowl without Micah Parsons?
No, absolutely not.
Can they win the division?
Great, even better question. Maybe. Again, it's still the Bears getting over the hump and beating the Packers. And Jordan Love still is the quarterback. Josh Jacobs is still the running back. So it's there. And again, talk about things that frustrate you. 2 more, 3 more pre-snap penalties yesterday for the Bears. That they're at 38 or 39. That's nuts. You have to fix. That's your quarterback cadence. You can pick on the lineman all you want, but that's where it starts. And they are still. He still makes boneheaded plays, and he needs to be, as Daryl Johnson said yesterday, try not to get it all with flash. Remember about substance, and that's what Ben Johnson is trying to teach Caleb Williams. That is what you got away with in college, you can't get away with here. And of course, then he throws the ball that becomes a touchdown. That was, as you and I, or excuse me, as those of us that are Bears fans are saying, no, especially after just a turnover. No, great play.
Yes.
But I do, and there's one thing I wanted to tell you. Please don't ever doubt me when I tell you about Luther Burden. Please.
Well, he's still not the best receiver on the field.
Best athlete. My son would just tell you to kiss his right cheek because it's the best athlete he ever played against. And he will tell you that Miles Harden was a pretty dang good college football player, teammate of my son's, and who got torched a bunch yesterday. And they call him the worst corner in football for the Browns. Well, you're still being the worst corner in the NFL. But Caleb Williams did enough. They ran the football. They're good. When you are over 100, and that's why your boys, the Lions, lost, is you rushed for 70 yards yesterday? My goodness, figure it out.
It wasn't rushing yesterday. They scored 34 points. They didn't stop anybody yesterday. And that goes back to, real fast, back to Luther Burden. I think he's going to be a good football player. He's still not
best athlete in the game.
He's still not one of the top 8 receivers in that division, more or less, on the field right now. There's 2 in Detroit that are better. There's 2 in his team right now that are better.
Who besides? Don't say Roma Dunze.
Well,
do not say DJ Moore either.
But Roma Dunze's had, Luther Burden was really good yesterday. Roma Dunze's had 5 games like that this year. 5.
Okay. So when you get enough reps.
Hold on. So real quick, Luther Burden was 6 receptions for 84 yards.
Best athlete in football.
Amon-Ra St. Brown had that in the first quarter.
Did they win?
Are we going to prepare? No. Are we going to compare Amon-Ra St. Brown's record in winning to Luther Burden's? He hasn't played in a playoff game in his life. Like
in 3 years?
We'll talk in 3 years.
Okay.
I will buy. Let's bet a delicious Godfather's Pizza, since it's a great sponsor. In 3 years. We'll take these 3 seasons, Luther Burden's first 3 years and Amon-Ra St. Brown's first 3 years. Well, somebody remember this, because Amon-Ra he has more catches than anybody in his first 3 years in the NFL history. Like, he's really, really good. Let's not compare. That's a silly argument to have. Luther Burden shouldn't be in the same breath as Amon-Ra St. Brown. Maybe someday, but not right now.
Luther Burden got today off because they won. Right?
They played the Browns. Hey, St. Brown had the day off after they played the Browns too. They kicked the shit out of them too. They played the Browns.
Well, what's he doing today? Going to practice?
Yeah, because he played the best team in football, and I do think the Rams are the best team in football. And I really loved Matthew Stafford's first Super Bowl. I thought that was great. I was rooting for him. This one's gonna piss me off. I'm not gonna like the second one, but this one, the Lions, I think. And hold on, I want to go back to the Bears real fast. If the Bears can't lose somebody, I'll let me phrase it correctly. I think Micah Parsons is a dude that the Packers can't lose, and they did. Obviously, Jordan Love is the same way. There's guys on those teams that you can't lose and move. Like Lions the same way. You lose Jared Goff, you lose Hutchinson, all those kinds of things. If there's an injury the Bears can't afford to lose, who is it?
Pick a tight end, Loveland or Kmet. You need, especially you go 12 personnel. You need
but they'll be fine.
No,
they would move. So. I get you would hurt them, but like I don't think if they lost a rookie tight end, people would be like, "Oh, they're to the extent of what we are." And my point is, I think like when it comes to,
have you seen them block?
That's what I'm saying. But I'm saying I think it's an offensive lineman. I think it's probably
which is what they are.
Yeah, I get it, but I don't think. But if the Bears guy they can't lose is a tight end that's a rookie, then it's not a very good roster yet.
Matty, you're looking for me to give you a skill guy, and they have two really good running backs, and they have, according to you, everybody better than Luther Burden as at the wide receiver position. And you or every Bear fan might believe, and I'm just the opposite, that they cannot win without Caleb Williams. And everybody laughs at me and calls me an idiot, and I still think their backup is.
That's what my point is. It's not the quarterback. Usually in football, it's like you can't lose the quarterback. And there's some people, and I think that's probably what the answer is my answer is one of the offensive linemen. I mean, that offensive line is the reason that they're doing what they're doing. And trust me, as a guy who's watched the Lions have to deal with life without Frank Ragnow, and everyone's like, who the heck's Frank Ragnow? I think my point is, I think when I was talking to some Bears fans yesterday, they said injuries are part of the game. They're no big deal. Some injuries are just like, yes, they're part of the game. I totally get that. But some injuries are just like devastating. I don't know what the devastating injury for the Bears would be. Yes, they had a week. Somebody said like they had a week. They didn't have any linebackers. Yeah. And they survived against a bad team and they got them back. I don't know if there's a devastate, and I'm going to put up on the a poll question out there right now. If the Bears can ill afford to lose one person, who would it be? And we'll see who. It's probably Caleb Williams, I guess. But like you love Tyson Bagent. So like, I know. And there were people after week 2 that were like, man, like let's go to him. So I think my point is when it comes to roster building, I think the Bears might have some more work to do just because, and they will be. Luther Burden could be a guy. Like Luther Burden in 2 years.
Luther Burden already is a guy.
Like the reason the Lions lost on Thanksgiving was because they lost the best receiver in the division, maybe in the game, in the first drive of the game. In the first drive of the game. So those happen, all those kind of things. But like the Lions have 2 all-pro safeties that aren't playing. They have their starting cornerback who's out for the year. They have Sam Laporta, who I think is outstanding as a tight end, that's out for the year. So I'm just curious, Bears fans, go to social media, talk to us on the chat as well. If the Bears can ill afford to lose one person, like I think it's obvious for a lot of teams. Like we just mentioned, Micah, Jordan Love, you go to Detroit.
Ben Johnson is the Bears. That's who the Bears can't afford to lose.
Maybe like make sure he doesn't have put him in a bubble or something. That's what I'm saying. It's not that now some of these guys, like you just mentioned, your Luther Burden crush, like in 2 years, we could be talking about that as like, you cannot lose that dude. He's not that dude yet, but, it's just interesting how it goes. Lions, man, I'm telling you, Johnny, it's going to be the best 10 or 11 win team not to make the playoffs in the history of the league, talent-wise. Like, they now have to win out, and they have to have either the Bears or Packers lose 2 games. Now, they do play the Packers the last game of the year, or not the Packers, the Bears. So, basically, the Lions got to win out, and they need the Bears to lose either against the Packers or at San Francisco. So, it's still... I mean, it's like a 40% chance and all that kind of stuff. But man, that defense yesterday, and they have the guys, they have people, but their secondary is completely gone. They're not there anymore. And Matthew Stafford, Johnny, he's 37 years old. Is he the best? Is he the MVP of the league?
Absolutely. And he's that ultimate tough guy who will go through any situation when he's 100%. Look how good they are when he's 100%. And he has multiple weapons, obviously, but he gets the ball. He still has, and you heard that. I'm sure you heard the story when he was a youngster that the Mannings didn't want to throw at their passing academy or at their passing camp because Matthew Stafford was there and he embarrassed everybody. Flat-footed, 78 yards. Matty, and there may be a little. It's like a big league pitcher who was at 97 all his life and now he's at 94, 93. Well, this is Matt Stafford now, and he's just tough. He's smart, and they are the team to beat in the NFL.
Yeah, I really do think that. And you look at it, I love the guy. I mean, I grew up, he gave me a great 10, 11 years, whatever it was. So I'll always root for that dude. And it's amazing how many people I've argued with earlier in the career that he wasn't very good, that he was injury prone. That was a big one, as he was injury prone because, I think it was Julius Peppers sacked him in Chicago and he broke his collarbone in his second year. And then he
still went out and played.
Yeah, guess what? Yeah, exactly. Oh gosh. Yeah. And
played the next snap.
Yeah, that was the Browns game, and you're exactly right. Led a touchdown drive next play. So tough as nails, and yeah, they're good on defense. They're good. And the thing with them is if they can clinch the number one seed, they don't have to leave that place. Now, mind you, it's not the most intimidating, like a lot of opposing fans. There was a lot of Lions fans there. It's LA. You know what I mean? Like there, you get a lot, but like if you can keep things pristine and not have to worry about like the weather or the wind or all that kind of stuff, and you let them
Even
go.
better.
Yeah, I think they're really good. Quickly, because gosh, we're too much time, but this is the way it always is with you. Bears, Packers, Saturday night, Soldier Field. Give me your thoughts on what happens. Give me a prediction.
Oh my goodness. The Bears win the football game, and this is going to come back to haunt me. And it has nothing to do with Micah Parsons. It's inability of the Packers to run the football next Saturday night.
And which is crazy because we complained earlier in the year that the Bears couldn't stop the run, and now
the
they do
Bears
it at a
will
much
run the
better
ball.
level.
Yep.
I will agree with you on the result. I do think it has a lot to do with Micah Parsons. I think he's one of the best players in the game, and that's a big loss. So it'll be fascinating. I don't know. I'll tell you who I'm rooting for off the air here in a second. So don't go anywhere. When I throw the break, stay there, and I'll tell you my little thing, and then I'll let you go on your day. Johnny, I appreciate Luther Burden's agent, John Marx. Everyone,
absolutely.
Thanks for joining us.
Jackson Marx.
I appreciate you, buddy. I'll talk to you soon. Johnny Marks here on a Monday talking about everything. Bears stuff is, and I don't mean in a negative way, but it's one of those things where like the guys that team can't lose. It's not full of stars everywhere yet. And there's still 10 wins on the season. Yeah, 10 wins on the season. So hats off to that head coach. We got more to get to. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hello, Dan Pearson here of FCA. Our team is thrilled to support Off the Air with our good friend Matt Randazzo. We share the view of the power of sport when it comes to relationships, including the influence of the coach. FCA believes the coach is the most influential person in America. Matt celebrates local coaches and athletes. His content is informational, insightful, and inspirational. Our Fellowship of Christian Athlete team loves partnering with Off the Air with Matt Randazzo while we engage, equip, and empower coaches and athletes in our 23 counties. FCA, the heart and soul in sports.
View from the West, the podcast covering Illinois high school football.
It's going to be a hard-hitting game. It's going to be great football.
Weekly analysis and reaction from around the western side of the state of Illinois.
This is the game we had circled when the year started.
Follow along on YouTube and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
It's big-time football out there tonight, and I know we can play big-time football.
View from the West. We got you covered.
Are you looking for the Quad City's best chips and salsa? There's only one dude to turn to.
Right on.
Snoop. Hand-cut chips, fried fresh with that crunch you've come to love. And the most addicting salsa with delicious fresh ingredients each and every time. Pick up your chips and salsa, queso, enchiladas, and much more at the Stern Center in Rock Island. To place your order, simply call the man himself. It's Snoop at 309-314-8197 and find out for yourself what the rest of the Quad Cities already loves. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Monday in the Quad Cities. We always are talking football on a Monday, basketball this time of year on a Monday, obviously as well. But this weekend, a lot of eyes were on the world of professional wrestling. And you know what? I would even venture to say people that aren't wrestling fans, aren't WWE fans were intrigued what was going on Saturday night because one of the biggest stars ever in the game, John Cena, wrestled for the last time. And of course, we got to talk all about it. And if we're talking wrestling or refereeing, but more important, wrestling on this Monday, our good friend John, I almost called you John Cena. I looked at your shirt.
Big match Don.
Big match Don. Wearing the John Cena shirt and everything. Before we get going on like the details of it, and full warning for everybody watching out there, if you don't like professional wrestling, tough, who cares? We're going to talk about it for the next 15, 20 minutes because it was the last match for John Cena. I'll be the first to admit I'm not a John Cena hater, but I'm not a lover. When he became popular, it was kind of when I was getting married and starting a family. So I was a wrestling fan, but I wasn't in it as much as I was and am now. But I respect the heck out of him, like him, all of those kind of things. What was it like for you on Saturday, knowing that it was John Cena's last match?
I think as it got close to it, and then when it actually occurred, I think it's like, and I think you'll agree with this, Matt, when we see one of our people that we've grew up with or enjoyed this over a length of time leave the business, it has relevance because, we're running out of the Randy Orton and others. There's not very many left from the Attitude Era. So when you lose an icon, which he was, it's a big deal.
Yeah, it was a huge deal. I think the big thing too is he's done so well outside of wrestling. So like even my wife, who doesn't like wrestling, was like, "Oh, it's John Cena's last match. Why? Like, wasn't he already done? Like, wasn't he already an actor?" And I'm like, "Yeah, he's been doing both a little bit, but this is the last time he's going to wrestle full go." So it was Saturday night's main event. It was on Peacock, and the main event was Gunther versus John Cena. I want to talk about that match first, and then I want to look at the final tour in general, or his last year, knowing that he was going to retire after that. But going into this one, it was John Cena and Gunther. I'm an old school wrestling guy, and I figured he'd lose, and I thought everyone else knew that as well. Judging by the reaction, not everybody expected that. What did you expect going in on Saturday?
I fully expected him to lose, Matt. I mean, John understands the business. I mean, I'm not, we've watched this. There's tradition. Great ones usually go out on their back. In this case, and we'll talk about it, tapped out in this particular match. There's just tradition when you retire, he left his, he didn't leave the boots there, but he left the sneakers there and took off the stuff, as opposed to other veterans, they leave their boots in the ring, and there's just that iconic fixture that we look at. In fact, you saw in some videos that were put out, Cody Rhodes sat there for multiple minutes just staring at the ring and the stuff sitting there going, this is it, and I think he honored the time-honored tradition of putting the heel over in Gunther, which we'll talk about, and walking away any savvy veteran does. And that's leaving your stuff there saying, hey, this is over. This is it. And I thought he did it with class.
Were you surprised that, okay, so I look at the look on his face when he tapped out, and it was different. It was almost like a smirk, like, all right, if you guys want me to do this, I'll do this. And he tapped out. Did you look at it that way? Or he didn't, let me use a term from the business. He didn't sell it, if that makes any sense. He didn't go unconscious or anything like that. He just kind of smirked and looked. Your thoughts on that, if that caught your eye at all?
100% caught my eye, Matt, because you saw the camera close in on him, and it's like, thanks everybody.
Yeah.
The show's over. Go home. Show's over. And he had never tapped out before. And we'll tie into and even it wasn't or went out. I mean, it was like, hey, show's over, everybody. And I loved it.
So you don't look at it as he begrudgingly went along with what the bosses told him to do, and that was to tap out in his last match?
I think you watched all the stuff they shown on video and about I think he was 100% in on how this was going to go. I mean, he had to agree when he did the heel turn, which everybody hated. He didn't do that just because they told him to. He agreed to that, you would have to presume. And I would assume he's going to go out on his terms. And I think he was just saying, thanks, folks, for the great ride, and I'll see you later, in my opinion.
No, and I agree. I don't think he wasn't on board. I just, at the moment of the time, it reminded me of when Gunther tapped out to Jey Uso, where it just seemed a little wonky. It didn't seem like it flowed the best in the world, but I can understand what you're saying. I don't think it was begrudgingly. I don't think he was doing it because he was mad at what was going on. I think that was just what he was going to do. You look at it with Gunther, obviously a superstar in the making, and the heat that he received. They had video of him leaving the building and getting booed and all those kind of things. And then Triple H got a lot of heat as he walked into the arena and down to the ring. Obviously, if people don't recognize, so Triple H is the chief content operator, so he calls the shots on how things goes. I know maybe people like Caesar and others that are watching this, it's not real, it's scripted. I'm not saying it's not real, I should be careful there, but it's predetermined. So he's the guy who predetermines everything. The heat they received, the hatred, the booing, was amazing. I think that's a good thing, don't you?
100%. How's Gunther been booked? He's kind of been booked as he's the bad guy. He's the number one villain, even though I do think there's some other villains like Drew McIntyre that are playing that role extremely well, but he's the villainous champion. But remember back, he lost back-to-back to Sami Zayn and Jey Uso, one of them by tapping out, no less, which the crowd reminds him of. And now you've got him as this monster heel that he slayed Cena, and all that heat is out there. Can you imagine what tonight's going to be if Gunther comes out to open the show? It's going to be monster heat on him, and that's what you want. Yeah. So I think it makes him look villainous and more unbeatable. And you heard the announcers talked about it. Professional wrestling beats sports entertainment was one of the lines that Michael Cole made at the end of the match. And he's a throwback to an old school professional wrestler coming out in that dark, long coat. I mean, it's badass. Yeah. And I loved every part of it.
You look at it too. He retired, quote unquote, retired Goldberg. And now he's going to become that guy. And you mentioned they want to leave the business in a better spot. And so that's what happened. And to be able to do those kind of things, I go back to, not that Brock Lesnar wasn't already a megastar, but when he ended the Taker's streak, like that put him to that next level. And it's like Gunther's already really, really good and strong and has heat and all those kind of things. But you do that with him and you retire John Cena and you beat the beloved John Cena in his last match, your heat is going to go to that next level. And let me piggyback on that and take it one more step. Tonight when he comes out, and he does his, and I'm assuming it's got to be off the top of Raw, and he gives a good heel speech, and all of a sudden somebody's music's going to hit. I don't know whose music's going to hit, but whoever music hits, that person's going to become a ultimate babyface. Can you imagine LA Knight's music hitting tonight? And that happens, and they come down to the ring with that, and that puts him to that next. So I think it just continues to pay off down the road as we continue to move on and go through. One of the poll questions today on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo: should John Cena have lost his last match? Yes or no? It's as simple as that. So go to Twitter right now and answer that question for us as we continue to talk about John Cena's last match with Don Umland. Also, you can give us your feedback right now. The chat on YouTube is up and going. So if you're wrestling dorks like we are, jump in and let us know what you think. This entire not heel run, but final run for John Cena. Can you grade it for me? Like, would you give it an A? Were you happy with it? Did it hit all the notes? Was it a C? Was it you hate it? There's some people that just absolutely hate it. Your thoughts on the final year run. So basically anybody who's wondering that's watching, last year he announced that he's going to do one more year and it was going to be a full-time schedule-ish basically. And they went with it. We knew this was going to be the date of the last match for John Cena. A, B, C, D, F. What do you got, Donnie?
I think I'm going to go solid B. There's obviously, it's easy to criticize, because everybody looks at it a different way, Matt. I'll hearken it to Frank Sinatra. He did it his way, because I'm sure we agree he had all the say in this, or a significant portion. And he had to agree to that heel turn. He wasn't going to just do that on his own. But imagine the moment that gave us when he did that kick in the ring and that face. We were shocked. We got excited. We geeked up about it.
If you could go back, Don, if you could go back and you could rewrite it, would you still do the heel turn? Yes or no?
Yes, because
I would too.
because it was a shocking moment. I mean, I loved it. I think we're heading down, and I don't want to jump ahead, but you were talking about. Well, let's stick to this. I think I'd give it a solid B. I don't know really what I would do different, other than. Matt, let me ask you this. If it wouldn't have been Gunther in a tournament, who would you have liked to seen him wrestle in his last match?
I'm good with Gunther. I don't think there was a better one, because you're going to go down to the nostalgia road, which I understand. And I would have loved to seen an Edge, but he's in that other organization. And some people weren't available, but what were you going to do? Like if you had Edge and Cena in the last match, you're not going to have Edge win. Like you want to pay it off with somebody young and move forward. Like people talked about The Rock. Have The Rock come back. So Cena beats The Rock one last time. That's fine, but it really doesn't, or loses to The Rock. Why? The Rock rides off and we never hear from him again. So I get maybe there could have been a bigger marquee when it comes to the final match, but you got all those. Don't you think the CM Punk, they got Cody a couple times, they got Randy Orton. You saw the majority of them. R-Truth with those matches and all those kind of things. I think they checked a lot of boxes. Yes, could there have been a bigger marquee matchup? Rock and Cena one last time? Oh, wow. But I think moving forward, they did it the right way. What do you think?
I agree. And, we saw, I think down the edge, we saw a little bit that their Super Cena wasn't there anymore. They cheered for it in the last match because we saw what Lesnar did to him. Just showed that he's physically not the guy he used to be 23 years ago. And then he loses to Gunther, who's now the super heel. So I think they did it using time-honored tradition.
Were you surprised he lost as much as he lost during his run? So let's see. You got
Maybe.
Lesnar. You got Cody, you got Dom, you got Gunther. Are those the 4 losses?
Yeah.
Were you surprised in that year that there wasn't? Now, mind you, you had to get belts off people and all those kind of things and their stories to work, but I didn't think he would lose as much as he lost in the last year. 4 times seems more than expected. I thought maybe twice. Once, maybe twice.
And maybe he didn't care. Maybe he was like, you know what, we'll put people over. But I mean, what do you think? Does it leave him like, he was a great champion 17 time, but was he? This goes back to that sports entertainment thing, and he got beat by a old school wrestler is the last thing we're going to remember, which is for me is great because I want us, as much as I love sports entertainment, I love great wrestling. And we don't get that a lot. And I know that other show we talk about is a little more.
We do
too. It's a little grittier, but there is that clash of sports entertainment and the old school. And when we see them blend or react or tie over each other, I think we're going to see again at some point probably Randy Orton and Gunther, because who's the legend killer? Gunther?
Yeah.
Orton?
Yeah.
I could see that down the line again. And that had a controversial ending, remember, in a match between the two of them.
Oh, yeah.
So,
no, it absolutely did. Don Umland joining me right now and Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. A few more before I let you go. Grade the match on Saturday. And I'll tell you right now, there's sometimes, and I might be opposite than you, I enjoy good wrestling. I love a great storyline. And there's sometimes that I'll get through a wrestling Monday Night Raw or something by zipping through things and finding out what happened at the end and watching finishes and getting caught up on storylines, but maybe not enjoying the wrestling aspect of things. And I don't think that's anything to do with me not liking professional wrestling. It's the fact that I have 4 kids and I don't have the time to sit there for 2-3 hours and watch a show. And the nice part is I can go back and watch and enjoy the matches maybe later. But with that being said, I enjoy those kind of things. But I thought the match on Saturday was really good. I think it hit all the notes. I think he had the ups and downs. I think there's plenty of bumps as well. The AA on the announcer's table and all that kind of stuff. Grade the match on Saturday. I'll give it an A.
Yeah, I'd give it close to an A. And I'll tie in something else you just said, Matt. You took over 10 minutes and made a sleeper hold relevant that carried that match to the end. Besides all the bumps, then we get to the end. Sleeper, going to go out, not going to go out. Sleeper, not going to go out. Reverse puts it on Gunther, which is the way he lost, a match earlier.
Yeah.
Then there's a recall. Is he going to win?
He hit the AA at one point where it went from sleeper to AA to sleeper to, it was really good. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I love the way over the last couple weeks we saw people in their matches doing the STFU, tributes, to Cena, because so that shows that he resonates out, and then in the match we get those finishes, and that's what I think makes the ending so bittersweet. He's kind of like saying bye bye.
Yeah,
and not everybody agrees with it, but I thought it was bittersweet. I was okay with it.
I thought it was outstanding. A few more for Don Umland. When it came to the end and the afterwards, and, I loved leaving the boots and everything there. Were you good with everything? Were you good? Did you want to hear him grab a microphone? Did you want him to talk? Did you want him to thank more people? I felt like he did that a lot at the beginning, maybe for a reason, knowing he wasn't going to do it at the end, and he wouldn't give the hugs that he gave and stuff. Were you surprised there wasn't one more John Cena? I told my wife was shocked that he lost. She's like, why would you have him lose? I'm like trying to explain. And then I'm like, but hey, I'm like, he's going to eventually come to and talk to people and give one more great John Cena thank you promo and then get on out of here. Were you surprised that he went out as quietly as he did?
No. And I think it almost looked uncomfortable when Cody and Punk put the belts on him.
He didn't want it.
Yeah, I kind of want to get out of here, but they, hey, put these on, you deserve it, and he deserved it. It'll be. I don't know if do you think we'll see him tonight? Do a thank you, or do you think it's a while?
I think he goes away for a while. Now, mind you, people are saying like, "What do you mean see him tonight? He's just retired. He's retired from competing in the ring. He's not retired from being around doing certain things." All that kind of stuff. He's just not going to wrestle anymore. Now, mind you, he wasn't around a lot to begin with. That's why I think he goes away for a while. It's Christmas time. He's not worried about it. He wants to go and relax and all that kind of stuff. I don't think you see him for a while. 2 more last questions.
Yes.
Do you see, and weigh in, if you're watching this and you love professional wrestling, let us know if we're right, wrong, everything else. Does John Cena ever wrestle again?
I say no. I think he is truly not going to wrestle again.
And you know what I mean? There's people watching this that said, well, he just retired. But like, so did Ric Flair 800 times. And so did Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels retired and he wrestled again. All these people, Undertaker, and has Undertaker wrestled since retiring?
He's made some appearances. I don't know if he's wrestled. Won't quote me, but we've seen him come in and do like his tombstone and some.
He was at the WrestleMania 2 years ago, one of the greatest endings in WrestleMania history. He was part of that. Now, he wouldn't wrestle, but he was. So I agree with you. I don't know if he ever wrestles, but man, he can still go. And in 5 years, if the company's down and your boy Tony Khan has taken over the world and they need something, like that's in their back pocket if they ever want it. Yeah. But I agree with you. And then last one. Boy, Triple H got some heat. Didn't he? He got some big time heat. Like, if there's a guy, one of my favorite angles ever in the entire history of wrestling was the Austin McMahon Not that he can wrestle still or go back and wrestle and all that kind of stuff, but wouldn't it be fun? Am I crazy to see Triple H be more active on not wrestling, but maybe start a stable or I did it. I did it for the right. Can you see that ever happening? Or is that just me like playing fantasy WWE wrestling and that's never going to happen?
So almost being a pseudo Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
Like
start a stable.
The tyrant.
The authority again. He doesn't have to wrestle. He can have goons and somebody be his main guy, whether it's Seth when he comes back. How great would it be if Seth comes back and Paul screwed him over and this person screwed him over, so he reunites with Triple H and they have a major run to the top of the industry once again. Our guy from Davenport.
Yeah. I don't know if they're going to go that route to be the comparison to have a chief operating officer, aka Vince McMahon, tyrant again, but he could certainly fulfill the role and said, look, I'm in charge now. So it's always possible. We'll have to wait and see.
Oh, well, Don,
who do you go ahead?
No, you go.
No, I was just going to ask you, who do you think? So who does Gunther face? Does he get a world title shot? Does it lead towards him at WrestleMania and it's either Cody or Punk?
See, I think they're getting that way, but I don't think that's the way WrestleMania is going to go. And you're looking at WrestleMania is still down the road, and they have big events until then. Is it Gunther versus somebody at the first Raw of 2026? Is there ways?
At some point he's going to want to chase a world title.
1,000%. But I think he's got so much heat right now, he doesn't need to be part of the world title chase. I think that's already crowded. Yeah. If that makes sense. So I don't think you need him to do those kind of things. I've heard that they're going to put a rocket ship on a rocket launcher on LA Knight, and he's going to have a huge 2026 as a huge baby face. So I don't know if that's like I don't know. But I don't think you need it. You know what I mean? There's sometimes I wish they would have just gone Seth and Punk back in the day when it first came back, 2 years ago in Survivor Series. I wish they would have left championships out of it. And you don't need that to be a championship chase, especially now. Like now, Punk regained the gold and all that kind of stuff. And I like Punk. There's different people in our group of wrestling friends that don't think I like Punk. I like Punk. I just like our guy from the Quad Cities a lot more. So anyways, long story short, I don't think Gunther doesn't need to chase a championship right now. You're right. He deserves one, and he's going to get one, and he's going to be one off and on for a long time. Also, before I let you go, how about this? The next big name to have a retirement tour like this, Randy Orton. AJ.
He won. AJ said he's 26 is it for him.
Yeah, and I get that, and he deserves it, but I don't put him at the same level. I'm sorry.
Randy's the next one.
Yeah, I just put him. And this is no disrespect to AJ Styles, but if you do it, and I think wrestling fans would love it, but the next one that transcends everything might be Randy because of what he's done. So, Don, 100. We could do an entire show on what happened. Enjoy Monday Night Raw this week, and happy holidays, my friend.
Same to you. Always good to catch up. We'll talk. Maybe we can talk a little officiating and basketball next time we get together. Some stuff that we've seen in November and December.
I love it.
We get together.
We'll book it. I love it. See you, pal. I appreciate you. Don Umland, talking about and with us. I mean, just kind of, I love the conversation. What you just saw with Don and myself is a lot of times, and you couldn't tell probably because of the way we look, but if we snag a workout together after a Monday night into Tuesday, that's what it's about. Just bouncing questions back and forth and having a great discussion about wrestling. Hit the Twitter. That sounds so old. Hit X and some great poll questions up right now, but one of them is, should John Cena have lost his last match? Very simple. Yes or no. Weigh in and then give us a reason why as well. We got more to get to. It's OTA on a Monday. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Monday in the Quad Cities. We have ran out of time. We are over the 2-hour limit, which is no limit. It's a beautiful thing here on YouTube, so we're not in trouble, but we got to go. We got to wrap things up. But want to thank our guests, Pat Angerer, Brady Welch from Moline, John Marx, as always, on a Marxy Monday, and then Don Umland talking a little John Cena's last match. So that was a bunch of fun to do. Also, we have poll questions out. Which Bears player could least afford to be injured? Weigh in on that. And then simple question. Should John Cena have lost his last match? Yes or no? So go check those out as well. Enjoy your Monday. Enjoy the week before Christmas week, I guess, if that makes any sense. And we'll be back with a brand new episode of OTA coming up tomorrow. We'll see you then.